session, Tuesday, October the 10th, 2023, 9 a.m. Before we begin our first agenda, we have Mr. Keith Domke with the Brenham Banner Press with us this morning, and he has a new reporter he'd like to introduce.
This is Leslie Fuentes. She just started late last week. She's our new government reporter. We'll be covering county commissioners, city council, and all that. So we're excited to have her here. She's going to do a great job for us. So thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Welcome.
Okay, Commissioner Bullock, would you do the honors?
Good morning. Today we have Billy Sutherland to lead us in the invocation. Welcome.
Thank you. Before I start, I just want to say I really enjoy living in Washington County. I've only been here 10 years, so that's like 5 minutes, But you guys are part of the reason that I enjoy living in Washington County, and I pray for you often, especially you, Kirk. Let's
He
pray.
needs all the prayers he could get.
He needs the prayers, and I need the practice. Father, we thank you so much for this beautiful weather that we've been seeing the last couple of days. Thank you for the rain with which you have blessed us. I thank you for this Commissioner's Court, for these, your servants. I pray that you give them wisdom as they conduct your business, and we'll give you all the praise and glory in the matchless name of Jesus. And all God's people said,
Amen. Please join us in the pledge to our nation's flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Well, thank you so much for that, Mr. Sutherland. Yeah, absolutely. It's much appreciated. Yes.
Item number 3 on our agenda, we'll have a public hearing. This public hearing pursuant to Texas Transportation Code 251.152 for public comments regarding a request to install no-through truck signs on Rolling Creek Road from its intersection with FM 389 to its intersection with Sawmill Road Precinct 4. Are there any comments concerning? Yes, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to address the County Commissioners Court. My name is Henry Strait. I'm a resident of Latcham. I live on Rolling Creek Road. We brought several of our neighbors up here. I think this represents about 40% of Latcham. First of all, I'd like to thank our County Commissioner, Dustin Majewski, and also County Engineer Wesley Stoles for their help and guidance in this project. Any of you who aren't familiar with Latcham and our little corner of Washington County, Rolling Creek Road is a road that's about a mile long between 389 and Sawmill Road. It wasn't constructed or designed to handle truck traffic, and we've had a lot of deterioration on the road in the last few years with all the oil and gas exploration that's going on. And also, where it intersects with Sawmill, it's pretty narrow, and you've got ditches on both sides, and those 18-wheelers can't make that turn without rutting up the left side or crushing the culvert. And they've taken our stop sign out and the reflectors on the culverts. They've taken those out numerous times, and that's kind of why we're asking for help here. We feel confident that the no-through truck signs will help reduce, if not eliminate, this problem with the road. It's a residential area, and it's a narrow road, and so we appreciate what the county can do to help us on this. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Mr. Strait. Are there any other comments concerning this public hearing?
Good morning. My name is Chris Jolly. I appreciate the opportunity to be here to talk to the Commissioner's Court. I did send a note to Mr. Majewski here yesterday afternoon. Several confusing ones. I'm sorry about that. My wife and I were fighting over what we should say. I would like to read our statement. I will say that having read this, I did have conversations with your staff this morning about this, and I think we've reached a resolution, but I think it's important that we recognize the issue in that area and the concerns that we as residents of Sacred Heart Road, adjacent to Rolling Creek Road, we too are a narrow road going up there. It is my understanding that a proposal to ban heavy through traffic from Rolling Creek Road is to be submitted to the Commissioners Court this coming Tuesday. I wish to protest this as it will place an unfair burden on other roads in the area. We believe the incentive for this proposal is to reduce the noise and environmental pollution, as well as enhance safety on Rolling Creek Road. But at what cost to those who will be impacted by the additional traffic on the other roads in the Latcham area? Currently, there are 4 paved roads that are used to access the area, and I'll talk about the area in a minute. 2 are from FM 389, Sacred Heart Road, and Rolling Creek Road. The other 2, Sawmill Road and Grote Road, are from 2502. During the past few years, Sacred Heart Road and Rolling Creek Road has seen plenty of heavy traffic from the well and pipeline work, the LCRA rehanging power lines, and the increase in residential development. Sawmill and Grote Road also some increase in traffic, but to a far lesser extent. Sacred Heart Road, Sawmill Road, and Grote Road were not built to handle heavy traffic and are narrow with minimally maintained roadbeds, edges, and unsupported culverts over creeks. No offense to the traffic department, they've done their best to patch them over the years with the heavy traffic that is rolling on it, but they are falling away. Sawmill and Grote Road have tight bends on their route that would be a significant problem in the event 2 larger vehicles were to approach each other on a bend. Rolling Creek was installed less than 20 years ago, and no doubt, with a higher standard in road construction and a more substantial bridge over the creek, and the road bends are not as acute as they are on the other roads. Elimination of heavy traffic on Rolling Creek would create an unfair burden on environmental, financial, and safety for the residents and property owners on the alternate roads, and especially Sacred Heart, as it would then become the primary route, bearing in mind the conditions of the other 2 roads. We all want to enjoy the benefits of country living in this beautiful part of Washington County, but we believe that we all should share equally in the burdens of growth and the economic development as well. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any more comments concerning the installation of no-through truck signs on Rolling Creek Road from its intersection with FM 389 to its intersection with Sawmill Road, Precinct 4? Any more comments concerning this? Okay, we'll move along to item number 4. This is also a public hearing. Public hearing pursuant to Texas Transportation Code 251.152 for public comment regarding a request to install no-through truck signs on Wellman Road from its intersection with State Highway 105 to its intersection with Lone Star Road, Precinct 1. Are there any comments concerning this no-through trucks on this particular road? Hearing none, we'll move along to item number 5, also a public hearing. This public hearing pursuant to Texas Transportation Code 251.152 for public comments regarding a request to install striping for a 2-directional no passing zone per Texas Transportation Code 545.055 for approximately 4,080 feet on Mustang Road near the Woodward Springs Road intersection, Precinct 2. Are there any comments concerning this striping of 480 feet on Mustang Road? Hearing none, we'll move along to item number 6. Discuss and possibly act upon approving an order designating and installing no-through truck signs on Rolling Creek Road from its intersection with FM 389 to its intersection with Sawmill Road, Precinct 4. Is there a motion? Before we discuss, we have to have a motion.
I make a motion to approve the order designated to install no-through trucking signs on Rolling Creek Road from its intersection with FM 389 to its intersection with Sawmill Road, Precinct 4.
Is there a second?
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
I'm not familiar with the area that you guys are discussing, and we've had discussions in the past about no-through truck signs and our ability to enforce these signs. And I do understand. So are we placing this? Are we just placing this traffic on another county road, or are there options for these oil companies to go on a state highway rather than utilize our county road? Because I think that will drive the decision of this court, because furthering the burden to other county roads just moves the problem. It's just geography for us in terms of county government. County government has expenses to these roads that, as far as I'm concerned, the infrastructure is a major part of our budget. So, Mr. Stoltz, I need to hear from you. Are we just moving this from one county road to another?
Sure. So let me kind of give you a little bit of a background on kind of what's going on in this particular area.
Right.
So we've been working on this one for quite a while, 1.5 2 years, pretty much as long as I've actually been in the county engineering seat. What we've got is we have a lot of oil and gas traffic from Verdun Oil Company that's actually operating in Austin County. So in Austin County, they do have an approved route that is actually through Wolf Road, which is through Austin County from 389. That does actually connect into Sawmill. Now, on that particular route, we've had plenty of conversations saying, hey, look, you have an approved route. This is your approved route for actually your operations. You need to keep your traffic there. Generally, it'll work for a week or two, maybe 3 weeks, and people tend to forget, and then they start going back to the map the fastest way possible. What we typically have in place for most major thoroughfare plans for counties, which we do not have intact today, but we still need to be conscientious of the future plan, is the fact that we do have minor roadways, we have collectors, there's major arterials, minor arterials, etc. Most major arterials, I think everyone can agree with. We have 290, we have 36, 389, 332, the major ins and outs of the county themselves. Minor arterials, 2502, 1697, those types of roads that actually connect those major arterials from one point to the next, right? And then you have collectors. Those are the ones that actually interconnect between your major arterials and minor arterials. Wolf, Sawmill, those are going to be connecting 2502 to 389, right? That's going to be a very typical collector roadway, right? Then you have your minor roadways. Those are typically going to be collecting from your collectors out, right? Or connecting to those. I would argue in this particular case, what we're looking at is that Rolling Creek, from the petition that's been put out, is a minor roadway. It was never meant as a collector, minor arterial. That really wasn't the intention of this particular roadway, nor would I recommend it going forward. Sacred Heart, I would actually recommend the exact same thing if we have a petition for this particular area as well. I would argue that with the oil and gas operations that we have today, we've actually really helped in that regard with the last permitting system we've done in 2022 and as we've progressed into 2023. This particular area is just very unique given the fact that we have access to a separate county through Washington County roadways. And this is the main reason why I think we've come to this point, is that really we have traffic that's progressing to another county that we really don't have really much control over. I think that this particular action item will be able to push that traffic to its proper route, which would be Wolf Road, especially if there's a petition from Sacred Heart, which I would follow suit with the exact same similar situation. It's a parallel minor roadway that collects into Sawmill and Wolf. From my standpoint in this, I would recommend this. I do see this as a good thing for the county to be able to traffic the larger construction traffic, oil and gas traffic, to those roads that are meant for this type of operations rather than the minor residential roads that we have today.
I agree. I think that the concern becomes this. When we start implementing signs, if you continue to put them on all county roads, we end up diluting their effectiveness, meaning that there's going to be some traffic on these roads that's going to be truck traffic. And maybe not all of it is through traffic, but I will tell you in Precinct 3 we have a similar situation on Gilmore Road where we have truck traffic, but the pathway on 390 is blocked by the fact that an 18-wheeler can't get through there. So we have to come to a conclusion of, is this through traffic necessary because of the fact that they don't have the other option to travel on the state highway, or is there another route? I think routing this traffic is really paramount to the situation. I just want us to be aware that enforcement becomes problematic, and we also need to understand that the dilution of these signs could be problematic as well. I understand the situation here, and it sounds as though they have another route. If the trucks have another route, they should use the route. And if we put up the signs, we should make them utilize that route as projected by the other county, correct?
This is correct,
And
sir.
if that is the case, I see no issue with us approving this particular no through truck sign.
I kind of want to piggyback off of that a little bit. So, if this is approved, are you going to be making or is the county going to be making direct contact with not just Austin County, I would assume, to at least communicate to them and let them know, if they're not already aware, but also are you going to make contact and make them aware that, this sign would be going up and that we expect them to not utilize that road anymore?
To be honest with you, this is going to be a conversation with Verdun because we've had those conversations throughout the process. And to be honest with you, I think they may actually welcome it. The whole reason being is that a lot of times they have contract trucking, right? And even though they try and push that communication to their contractors, a lot of times it gets lost in translation from the owner of the company to the operations dispatcher to actually the truck driver themselves.
Understood.
If we have a situation in place out there where the truck driver is also seeing this is not an accessible route, then they also are going to be able to properly move themselves to the correct route, both from their side, filtering down through the approved routes through Austin County, as well as the signage that we have in Washington County to push them that route. And I will say that I would argue that probably this is a cut through, this is a shorter route, but it is not the approved route and really what I would not recommend for that
That's
traffic.
key. I think it also is key that if we're going to notify anyone, it should be law enforcement.
Exactly.
Because if
Correct.
you're going to put up a regulatory sign, then it needs to be enforced. If we're not going to enforce the regulatory signs, then it's a futile attempt to make this happen. I think that law enforcement will be able to enforce what we are approving here today if the court so approves. So that's all.
And Wesley, correct me if I'm wrong, the issue we're having here is we do not have a road use agreement with these companies, so we're not able to, when they do tear up the road, to get any kind
They're
of.
not the,
There's no-
they're not the
there's no
primary.
financial
There's no
recourse.
But
financial
is there
recourse.
any recourse to where we can have that conversation if they are? So you're saying
Well, they've
that
been trying over the years, and they send the email, make the phone call, and like I said, it gets them off that road, for short term. And then another contracting company comes in and they're gonna go the shortest route. And so, I think that's the biggest key here is not having the road use agreement for these roads.
I agree.
Is what sets it apart from, if it's something that's drilled in our county and we got the road use agreement, then, it's part of development and
Right.
economic growth. But without having that road use
These originating
agreement.
outside the county, so.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
So, but again, enforcement is the key to this. Without that, and I see Constable Holly nodding, thank you. So,
I
okay.
think Constable Rowling will be
I think my
ready
only
to go.
concern, obviously, I agree with y'all, it has to be enforced. I didn't key in on that knowing that we're 6 deputies down and, I just know the likelihood of
There's a lot
the
of
enforcement
realities.
right now is probably slim.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to item number 8. Is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you for the further explanation.
Thank you.
Yes.
sir.
Item number 7, discuss and possibly act upon approving an order designating and installing no-through truck signs per Texas Transportation Code 251.155 on Wellman Road from its intersection with State Highway 105 to its intersection with Lone Star Road, Precinct 1.
So this is going to be a petition that was also, I'm
We need a
sorry.
motion first. Is
I'll
there a
move
motion?
upon approving an order designating and installing no-through truck signs for Texas Transportation Code 251.155 on Wellman Road from its intersection with State Highway 105 to its intersection with Lone Star Road, Precinct 1.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Mr. Stoltz?
Sorry about that. So this is also a petition that was filed for Wellman Road, where the vast majority of the landowners did sign a petition for consideration for a no through truck traffic on this particular one as well. With this one, there isn't oil and gas that's typically in this area. A lot of the actual operations in this particular area are going to be more of contractors that are going to some quarries out there that get misdirected, as well as some transportation to some other commercial operations out there, right? With Wellman Road, it's also kind of following suit with the same thing. This is a minor roadway. Lone Star would be more of the collector arterial or collector to the arterials that would actually transfer through that traffic. I believe that this particular roadway is actually undersized. We have a lot of very tight right-of-ways through there, vegetation issues as well, that we really just don't have the right-of-way necessary at that point to be able to confer that larger traffic through this area. I do see that the Lone Star route is going to be much more economical for the future as a collector, and I do believe that this is a valid argument.
And so you're saying that the traffic is much better to be on Lone Star Road, which is a county
Yes.
road?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item number 8, discuss and possibly act upon approving an order designating and installing striping for a two-directional no-passing zone per Texas Transportation Code 545.1.055 for approximately 4,080 feet on Mustang Road near Woodward Springs Road intersection, Precinct 2.
Make a motion approving an order designating and installing striping for a two-directional no-passing zone per Texas Transportation Code 545.055 for approximately 4,080 feet on Mustang Road near the Woodward Springs Road intersection in Precinct 2.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded. Discussion, Mr. Stoltz.
Yes, sir. So really what this boils down is actually our vertical curves in that area. We have essentially, to put it in perspective, this is a very hilly area, right? This has been done in the past for the county where there is very low visibility with people meeting each other over the top of these roadways themselves. Yes, ma'am. There's 3 particular hills with vertical curve clearance that affect visibility, one of which is 720 feet. That would actually, we'd be looking at this, which is the smaller of the 3, 1,320 feet of striping in this for the second one, and then the third would be a little bit longer at 2,040 feet, totaling 4,080 feet in total for this particular stretch of roadway near this intersection. And I have gone out there, we've done the measurements, and yes, this is a visibility problem that I believe can be assisted with whenever we do have some striping to properly make sure that people are allowing for those other vehicles to come through, especially if we do have someone that's traveling at higher speeds.
Right.
And this is a highly traveled road, I would imagine, Mustang.
Absolutely.
Highly traveled.
Because
It is
of the location.
The alternative to 290.
I actually know
Yeah.
where this one,
Yeah.
Precinct 2.
Right.
Yeah. So,
In this
Okay.
particular area, we've received complaints, and of course, just driving it yourself, you know, as a cautious driver, you slow down, you make sure you're over, but there have been many times coming over those crests, you don't have
Well-
someone being so cautious, so we think that the striping will, as Mr. Stoltz said, assist in this.
well, I do know that it makes people move over.
Yes, it does.
Because
Uh,
in the areas
well-
that we have it, it does make them move over. Most people drive our county
A
roads in the middle.
portion of this was striped prior,
Correct.
and then we repaved the road, and now we're coming back and
Right.
doing it again, so that's good. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, the engineer requested that to be tabled. We'll move to item number 10.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Discuss and possibly act upon the approval of a proclamation proclaiming October 2023 as Anterior Venous Malformation Awareness Month. Get through my paperwork here. Whereas anterior venous malformation, AVM, is a rare disease affecting 18 out of every 100,000 people in the U.S. That's very rare. It is characterized by tangled blood vessels that connect arteries and veins. And these tangles disrupt normal blood flow and oxygen circulation and can develop anywhere in the body, but are most commonly found afflicting a person's brain or spine. And some common symptoms of brain AVMs include bleeding in the skull, seizures, headaches, weakness, numbness, or tingling or one part or side of the body, and confusion.
Bless you.
Children and teenagers with AVM may struggle with learning or behavioral issues. The clear causes of AVMs are unknown. Some doctors theorize they occur in the womb or shortly after birth and appear later as the child ages. Now therefore it be resolved by the Commissioners Court of Washington County, Texas, to hereby proclaim October as AVM Awareness Month.
I make a motion to approve proclamation proclaiming October 2023 as AVM Awareness Month.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
I just say, I didn't even know this existed
Well, I
until
don't
this
think
proclamation was sent
18
to
out of
us.
100,000, you just don't
So-
hear about this. But, okay, Ms. Pegg, would you like, here, you want to
Sure.
copy this?
I'd like you to introduce both of my grandsons. This is Cash.
Miss Kramer,
Cole.
would you go to the microphone?
Can't hear me. Anyway, this is Cash and Cole. Cole is my little miracle grandson. Almost 3 years ago, December the 5th is when I got a phone call from my son that said he had had a stroke. As it turns out, it was an AVM, an arterial venous malformation, which means there's a bunch of vessels that was located on the left side of his head that the blood couldn't go through anymore. And what happens then, it backs up, pops, causes a stroke. He is a miracle, an absolute miracle. As I told him, he had all of Texas praying for him, but at that time he had to have surgery. He has no memory problems, no speech problems. He is an absolute miracle, whereas a lot of children, these other 18, may not be near as lucky, not even close. But I just wanted to do this for him because he was actually going to be here this week, and this is the proper month for it. Thank you all for the maroon, because that is the AVM color of the month. So anyway, thank you very much.
Well, thank
Well,
you.
thank you for
That's
bringing it to
Yes.
our attention, Peggy.
Yes.
I mean, I recall you telling me about this when he was going through that, and, you know,
Yes.
I know we prayed for your grandson, and I see he's a little shy there, but
We got shy guy and not so shy guy.
I've got those
Well,
too.
we recall when all this happened, and I know everyone in this courthouse, and all county was praying for him. And
It was very scary.
it really didn't look very good for a while there. And you,
I couldn't get to North Carolina quick enough.
yeah.
It's wonderful what the doctors can do today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
he got his
amazing.
very own
It's
helicopter
amazing.
flight to
Yeah.
Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
Where my
It's
great.
helicopter man is, not in here.
I think we need to thank God for this.
Yes,
As
he got
outcome
his
for
very
sure.
own miracle.
We
As
know
I
he's-
said, there's 18 out of 100,000, and he is one of those 18. That absolutely is doing perfect. Yes, he has to have a MRI done annually for the next 10 years, so to make sure that because it could come back, but it hasn't. So we're doing very well, and I'm very,
How
very
about
proud.
we bring him forward and get a photo? How would that be?
I don't know if you'll see. Okay. Come up here with all. Please.
Family photo.
Let's do it over here, please. We'll go to blue. Just real quick.
It's got a little bit of.
Real quick.
There you go.
Turn around, right. There, Cassie.
Thank you.
Yeah, good.
Item number 11, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of the Commissioners Court meeting minutes of September 2023. Are there any corrections or additions?
I've made all my corrections with the county clerk, so I make a motion to approve the Commissioners Court meeting minutes from September 2023.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 12, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of Commissioners Court Budget Workshop meeting of 2023.
I'll move upon the approval of the Commissioner Court Budget Workshop Meetings of 2023.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
I would just like to say thank you, Ms. Rothermel, for putting all that together. It was a long read, but I really appreciate you doing all that.
Absolutely. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 13, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of 2023 Scarecrow Festival Mass Gathering Permit application. It's right here, it's the same, they've done this for many years, and they do a very good job of it. Mr. Murphy approves of it all, so.
Commissioners, I would just remind us that we had a request to streamline this permit
Right.
and budget, so I think we need to stay the course on that.
Diligent.
Yes,
Right.
need a review.
Okay.
Okay, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the 2023 Scarecrow Festival Mass Gathering Permit application.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and
I had a
seconded.
really difficult time with that one.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 14, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of 2023 Scarecrow Festival right-of-way permit application. That has all the
Same
needed
thing.
signatures and so forth, all approved.
I make a motion to approve the 2023 Scarecrow Festival right-of-way permit application.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
And for all of you out there, that is happening this weekend in Chapel Hill. We'd love to see you.
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday.
Item number 15, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of the third-year amended contract for Core Health and authorize the county judge to sign.
I make a motion to approve the third-year amended contract for Core Health and authorize the county judge to sign.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion?
I would just like to thank all those involved in negotiating with this company. It was a very arduous process.
A year?
With the
year.
county attorney's office and Commissioner Bullock, so thank you guys for working with them because there were
All
cost
being
savings
All being
realized.
Commissioner Hanlon, Commissioner Bullock, and Casey. Thank you very
Shirley,
much.
they did the work.
Appreciate yeoman's job y'all did and stood your ground and got those folks to pay attention, let's put it that way. Okay?
That's good.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 16, discuss and possibly act upon approving the renewal bond of Reserve Deputy Sheriff Steve Westbrook.
This is the annual renewal for Steve to stay on as a reserve deputy sheriff for the sheriff's office.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the renewal bond for Reserve Deputy Sheriff Steve Westbrook.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Item number 17, discuss and possibly act upon the approval of accounts payable.
This week, we have $195,444.05 in bills that we're paying. Just a lot of repairs. There's several autopsy bills that have come in again, but most of it is just normal
Routine.
repairs.
I move upon the approval of accounts payable.
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 18,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second that motion.
motion been made and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned.
Do we have